We are going to completely dismantle the idea that you have to hustle, repent, or earn your way back into the universe's good graces to make the pain stop. Treating your agony like a debt you have to pay off creates a psychological loop you can never escape. You will always find some tiny flaw in yourself to blame, keeping you trapped in a cycle of guilt instead of actually healing. This anxiety makes perfect sense when you look at humanity's oldest default setting, viewing the world as a giant cosmic vending machine. The ancient theological term for this is retributive justice. Today, we usually just call it karma, or spiritual hustle culture. It's a rigid, transactional belief system where inputs strictly dictate outputs. You do a good deed, you get a blessing. But that math has a dark inverse. If you are experiencing pain, the vending machine logic demands that you must have inputted a bad deed. Your suffering becomes undeniable proof of your secret guilt. This forces you to spend your life frantically trying to balance a spiritual checkbook. Because human beings are flawed, the math will never actually balance out. This transactional worldview takes your deepest wounds and weaponizes them against you. It turns people who are already hurting into the architects of their own misery. The oldest, most devastating critique of this system comes from the biblical book of Job. The wealthy, blameless man who put all the right coins into the machine, did everything perfectly, and still lost his wealth, his children, and his health. This document shows a scholarly analysis of the text, highlighting how ancient wisdom sought to explain suffering through the doctrine of retributive justice. Job's three friends represent this exact historical consensus. When they see his horrific state, they act like prosecuting attorneys. To them, the math is simple. Because Job's suffering is immense, his secret sins must be equally immense. They beg him to confess so the vending machine will give him his life back. Job refuses. He knows he is innocent, so he demands a written indictment and a literal court date with God to clear his name. He wants to see the spreadsheet. When tragedy strikes us today, our own inner critic acts exactly like Job's friends. We desperately interrogate ourselves, looking for a personal flaw to blame for the chaos, terrified that the suffering is our fault. God finally answers Job, but he does not bring a spreadsheet. He arrives in a massive, violent whirlwind, completely ignoring Job's demand for a transactional accounting of his life. Instead, God takes Job on a virtual tour of the cosmos, pointing specifically to Behemoth and Leviathan. These are ancient mythical chaos creatures, massive beasts that operate purely on instinct, existing entirely outside the bounds of human morality or control. The response shatters the vending machine illusion. God reveals that the universe is not a strict moral equation. It is a vast, untamed, and wildly complex ecosystem where beauty and danger exist side by side. Job's suffering was not a targeted punishment for a secret sin. He was simply caught in the tragic crossfire of living in a complex, broken cosmos where chaos operates freely. Realizing the world is complex rather than transactional offers a profound, terrifying freedom. Sometimes the math doesn't add up. Sometimes you're caught in the storm, and your pain isn't your fault. Karma demands that you get exactly what you deserve, and keeping up that charade is exhausting. Grace offers a radically different way to live. Toward the end of the story, a character named Elihu introduces this perspective. He argues that suffering does not always act as a punishment. It can actually act as a pedagogical tool, a way to open our ears to instruction, serving as a conduit for unmerited grace. In this context, grace means being deeply loved and held right in the middle of life's mess. You don't have to earn your way out of the chaos before you are worthy of being comforted. You have to stop using your agony and exhaustion as collateral. You don't need to prove to the universe that you are worthy of healing by suffering loudly enough or long enough. Throwing away your spiritual checkbook allows you to simply be human. You can be sad, angry, or tired without the terrifying fear that feeling those negative emotions will somehow delay your blessings. Think about what your daily peace would look like if you permanently stopped trying to earn your relief, if you just let yourself exist. Try this catch yourself exercise. The next time you think, "Why is this happening? I've been so good," stop yourself. Say out loud, "My pain is not a transaction." True spiritual freedom begins the exact moment we accept the wild, unmerited grace of the whirlwind over the safe, exhausting illusion of the vending machine. Head down to the comments and share one specific karmic lie or piece of spiritual heavy lifting that you are finally letting go of today. If you're struggling to let go of this transactional mindset, you need to click the video on screen right now. I'll see you over there.